finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Nope. No. No way. No chance. Absolutely not. We're doing a one-taker tonight because that was brutal. And it's past 1 a.m. So I tell you what, I'm going to leave you with a message. A message that I think is very important. A message that I think is going to resonate with Toronto Maple Leafs fans, young and old. If you've been cheering for this team for decades, or you've been cheering for this team for just a couple of days. And that message is, Brad! Now, some of you might be new. Brad is in Treliving. That's and if you're looking for a way to spell it, it's like B-R-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A. There's like a couple more A's, D. Bradley. Did you watch? Did you watch it, Brad? Here, put it. This is the one edit I'm going to tell you to do, Drew. There it is. Yep, he did watch. The brain trust is in there. There's 4 brains in there. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I trust any of them. Oh, yeah, no. We're doing this, okay? 60 games in, right? Here we are in the road. Last game they lost against the Sharks at home, and they've had a really tough schedule lately, and blah, 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 and all that. I gave them a pass. On the Sharks game. Hey, this is the first game since the 4-Nation face-off break where the Leafs haven't gotten at least a point. I understand that. They also went down 5-0 against Vegas. I was texting with the dude who happened to be at that game, a Toronto Maple Leafs fan who actually paid to be at that game. The rest of us were suckers who stayed up till 1 a.m. to watch that. This is my job. What did the rest of you do that for? Do you have a humiliation cake? What's up? What's all that about? Why? Pray tell. It's not as simple as Joseph Woll was bad. And he was. He got pulled for the first time in his career. And again, I gave him a pass the last game because I'm like, he doesn't usually do that. And he still doesn't usually do that. But he's now done it in back-to-back games. The last game, he didn't get pulled. In this one, he did. And he was bad. And it wasn't good. Might that game have stayed within reach had he not been bad to start the game? It's possible. It's possible. The Leafs were out shooting the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know if they were out chancing them. They gave a breakaway after breakaway after breakaway. And even a couple of the goals where you're like, it would have been nice if Woll had made a save there. It's Vegas Golden Knights in all alone. Aiden Hill had to make a few saves, and he did. He gave his team a chance to win the game. I wouldn't say he stole anything. The Leafs walked into Vegas all tired and sleepy, and they took their beating, and the offense didn't show up ever at all. It ended up being 5-2, I think was the final score. Matthews got a goal, and he seemed pretty jacked about it. Cool. Marner got a goal. Could have had 2. Could have had a really sexy one. That would have been nice. Would have been nice for my fantasy team. But he didn't. And it's not his fault that they lost the game. But here's where I'm at. And this is why I'm screaming Brad. And this is why I'm going to be harder on the Leafs now. We're going down the stretch here. Winning the division matters. Winning the division matters so much. Don't look back at 2021. It's not about 2021, where they did win the division and they ended up having to play the Montreal Canadiens. Listen, sometimes I feel like that series gets skewed in people's memories because the Montreal Canadiens ended up making it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They were a formidable opponent. They actually beat the Vegas Golden Knights, who the Leafs got murdered by in this game. Listen. Leafs were up 3-1 for a reason. They were up 3-1 for a reason. They were far and away the better team. Far and away the better team in that series. And then Game 5 happened, and oh my goodness, out of nowhere, the Montreal Canadiens are running the Leafs out of the building. And the Leafs come back, and I feel like I have to do this every time, but I got to remind you of the trauma. I have to remind you of the trauma. They should have won that series, and they friggin' blew it. So here's what we got. We got the Florida Panthers as the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions with cap space, and they just added Seth Jones. There's rumors they're going to add Mikko Rantanen. Come on, literally don't kill me, right? Then there's the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, I don't know if you've been paying attention to them, tried this crazy strategy. I don't know if you heard. It's they don't lose! They don't lose! Ah! And then they added Yanni Gourde, who I wanted very badly, and they won 2 Stanley Cups with Yanni Gourde. And they added They added Oliver Bjorkstrand, who has been one of the most underrated players in the NHL over the last half decade. And if you're like, Oliver Bjorkstrand, really? Yeah, that's what I mean. And they added him to that team, and he's going to play in their top 6. And the Lightning's third line is going to be like, we could have Nick Paul or Yanni Gourde play center. They're going to have an up the middle. They could potentially do this if they really wanted to. Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli, Nick Paul, Yanni Gourde. They could do that up the middle if they wanted to. And the Leafs are going to go back at them with Austin Matthews, good start, John Tavares, hey, Max Domi, David Kampf, neither of whom had a good game in this one. The teams in the Atlantic, the ones that matter the most, the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're making moves. There is no tomorrow. Those teams don't have draft picks. The Tampa Bay Lightning don't have another draft pick until 2028. Do you understand there's going to be another Olympics and a World Cup before the Tampa Bay Lightning select their next first-round pick? The Tampa Bay Lightning's next first-round pick, if they keep it, just started high school! I might start high school next year! I don't know the math! That Yanni Gourde trade made me see the light. And it's important that you hear this ahead of the deadline. Oh, you're not talking much about the game. You didn't watch it, did you? That thing was a piece of crap from start to finish. This is the last video you're going to see from me, potentially, unless the Leafs make a deal, until the trade deadline. All week long, I've been talking about you can't trade that 2026 first rounder because you don't know if you're going to have Marner. You don't know if you're going to have Tavares. What if you stink? And oh my goodness, you're going to be so sad that you don't have that pick. And don't trade Easton Cowan. What a great draft pick. And don't trade Fraser Minton. He's going to be a full-time Leaf next year. He could be a full-time Leaf now, if you ask me. And then there's Ben Danford, who I love very much because he's an Oshawa General and a nail gun. And I don't care about any of it. I don't care about any of it. Oh man, they have no future. The Avalanche don't have any picks. And everyone seems to really like them. Vegas is always in on everything. Why is that? The Tampa Bay Lightning have traded every pick into the sun, and weirdly, they keep regenerating. There's generations of these guys. That's why they're able to compete all the time. And then there's the Florida Panthers, who might be able to beat last year's Florida Panthers by Friday. Mikko Rantanen? Are you serious? And the Leafs have Pontus Holmberg in the top 6. Bobby McMahon got promoted tonight. He got a shot on goal in this one, and it was his first shot on goal in 6 games. Sorry, I think you might have misheard me. Steve, did he get his first goal, his first assist? No, his first shot on goal! In 6 games! Ow. I opened my eyes so wide I did something with my eyelash. Did you see that? Was that visible? I saw it. Very up close. Not everything is doom and gloom. Matthews is on a crazy point streak. Marner's playing the best hockey of his career. Nylander's pretty good. The good news is the usual good news. The big guys are the big guys. It's not a problem. In the playoffs, sometimes it's a problem. That's the other thing, the trust factor. Oh, the trust factor. But I've thrown it all out the window. Because, listen, if the Leafs throw the future out the window to try to win now, they might win. Ah ha ha, pause for laughter. They might. They might. If they do nothing, they're going to get creamed. They're going to get decimated. They play Florida. Like forget just sitting this out and trying to win some games and winning the division. They play Florida 3 more times before the end of the season. Literally, what did they do to deserve this? What did they do to deserve? And like one of them, I'm pretty sure, don't they have like a Tampa, Florida road trip to end the season? Like what cruel and unusual torture. The Leafs could end up 3rd in the Atlantic. They have been leading the division for goodness knows what percentage of this season. They might not have home ice in the first round. Do you understand? Do you understand? You need every conceivable advantage you could have. And if you don't win this division, winning this division is the difference between playing like the Blue Jackets or Rangers or maybe Red Wings and playing Tampa or Florida. And there's still the potential that you might fall beneath them if this play keeps up over the last couple games and you don't even have home ice advantage. They don't have Tanev. Oh, they don't have Tanev. Look at the Panthers. They don't have Matthew Tkachuk. And what are they doing? They're going out and doing any and everything. Oh, well, there aren't that many sellers. The Seth Jones-Spencer Knight trade is not your typical buy and sell trade. The Lightning with the Kraken is. And look at that. Oh, man. You know who's been so bad? You know who's had one draft pick over the last, one first-round draft pick over the last decade? Tampa. Oh, yeah, they're really bad. Good teams find a way. Good organizations find a way. Smart organizations find a way. Leafs don't do anything this year. Brendan Shanahan's gone. We already know that. Brad Treliving, you are on the friggin' clock, dude. We don't know if Marner's coming back. We don't know. And I'm glad that it's been quiet. It's been mostly quiet on both sides. I don't want to know what he's asking for. Nothing. All I care about is the hockey games. John Tavares, same thing. You can surprise me. If you sign him, just surprise me to an extension. Anyone else with an extension, nice. You know what? Throw me a bone. Give me a little Steven Lorentz extension. That'd be crazy. Nick Robertson, blow my mind. Or trade him. Or trade the picks. Or trade the prospects. Or anybody. Make this team better because your choice is do that or lose. This team against Tampa or Florida, the way it is, will be annihilated. But here's the good news. You have a little under 48 hours to change those fortunes. And you can maybe push Bobby McMahon down in the lineup, and he's even more effective. Or push Pontus Holmberg down in the lineup, and he's more effective. Or send Max Domi to the friggin' moon. Or improve your decor, and then Chris Tanev comes back, and oh my goodness, find a way to score in the playoffs for a change. Whatever you do, I'd like it to be more than one thing. You have to do it. You have to do it. There's no standing pat, Brad. There's no standing Brad, Pat. There's none. There's no situation, no scenario where the Leafs can do nothing and get everything. That's my take on this year's trade deadline for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Steve, what should it be? Friggin' get creative! 2 sellers made a deal tonight that made no sense, but at least they're doing something. Go ask Kyle for Luke Shen. That should be a barrel of laughs. Go out there and, I don't know, okay, it's Brock Nelson. Darren Dreger kept saying Toronto and Winnipeg are in on Brock Nelson. That's great. You keep talking to the St. Louis Blues. I think that's a waste of time because I don't think they're actually trading anyone. I don't understand why the Blues wouldn't try to make the playoffs. I think it's a very attainable thing for them. Keep going. Ryan Donato? All right. Freaking Scott Lawton? All right. Maybe you go to Chicago and it's Donato and Connor Murphy somehow because you find cap space in your friggin' backyard or under your couch. I don't know how to do it. That's not my job. It's not anyone watching this' job. Brad! And the brain trust around him. You got a job to do, and you better do it. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. The SDPN YouTube channel is the place to be on Friday. We're going to be reacting to everything, including the Leafs moves that they better make.